Hi guys, so today I am going to be giving you 3 lessons that I learned from this book called Pathways of Possibilities from Rosamund Stone Zander. Okay, this book, I read it in 2022, and let me tell you something, it still rings in my mind. I still go back to it, certain chapters, and I'm like, okay, let me learn. Things may not be as they appear. Okay, chapter 16, what want it? So I'm just going to give you like 3 lessons that I've learned from it. The first one is about your inner narrative and rewriting it. So, okay, like here's the thing. A lot of the times we have these stories in our heads that we've been telling ourselves since we were kids. Things like, I'm not lovable, I'm not beautiful, I'm bad with money, or I'm shy and stuff like that. But in the book, what she dispels is like, she says like these stories are lies. Well, kind of, not really, but they're lies. It's more like scripts running in your head that keep on playing. You get what I'm saying? And they never stop playing. So the author does a good job at like showing you that you're stuck. Okay, like she keeps showing you that you're stuck and that these are just scripts that you can rewrite. Emphasis on these are just scripts that you can rewrite. So maybe, for example, for something like, you know, if you say, yo, I've always been bad with money from like whenever, from like high school, or I'm not lovable. How about you turn that around and say, hey, I was never given the proper tools and resources on how to handle money. Do you get what I'm saying? So my first lesson that I learned here is that you can rewrite your narrative. Like in the first few chapters, she talks about this guy named Alan and how he sees himself as a cheat and a fraud because he cheated on his wife, and he just keeps on cheating. He gets in relationships and he cheats and cheats and cheats. And she shows him that, you know, he should look at his life as one big field, you know? And in that field, there's like different aspects that make up who he is, and that he should rewrite certain things about his narrative. And when she taught him that trick, it showed him, I feel like he was able to go back to his childhood and to see things for what they were and to not take on stuff that he had no business taking on. And I feel like that's what a lot of us do, especially me. Like, you know, when you look back, you're like, yeah, that was because of me. But then when you really go back into the past and you address a few things and you realize, that was never about me. That had nothing to do with me. So that's lesson number 1. Rewrite your narrative. Lesson number 2 that I learned is that emotions are not the enemy. They're like little tea spillers. So here's the like hot take. Emotions aren't really trying to ruin your life. Like, they're trying to show you things about yourself that you need to recognize. Basically, they're trying to help you out. So think of them as little tea spillers, you know, like spilling the truth about what's really going on with you. You get what I'm saying? Rosamund says, she makes a good point in saying that instead of like shoving these feelings down and like saying, no, I'm not feeling this, I'm a G, you know. So saying you're a G and ignoring them, how about you try listening to them? You know, like think of them as like little secret codes trying to tell you what's going on with you, you know. Like sit there and listen to them. Try to like pay attention to what they're trying to do. Or no, not trying to do, like what they're trying to tell you. You get what I'm saying? Like, so the next time you're feeling all freaked out and you're feeling all angry, like take a pause, take a step back, and try to figure out what these emotions are telling you. Like I remember back in the day, I learned a nifty little tip, not trick, a nifty little tip, whatever. Oh God, English. I learned a snippet of information that helped me. They said that anger is not that it's not really an emotion. Anger is an emotion that we use to mask how we really feel. So instead of saying, yeah, I'm angry and to beat people up, sit back and ask yourself and say, okay, I'm angry, but why am I angry? You might find out that you're just genuinely really disappointed at a situation, you're hurt, or you're rejected, or you feel abandoned. So that's what I'm saying, like emotions can help you really understand what's really going on with you. That's if you're ready to go below surface level. You want to go under. So lesson number 3 is ditch your survival self and embrace your possibility self. Now check this out, my G. Now check this out, Nick. Imagine you have 2 versions of yourself. You have the survival self, which is like the overly cautious, don't take no risk, like the overprotective helicopter parent that keeps you from stepping out of your comfort zone. And then you have the possibility self, right? That's the one who's like your cool best friend. You know, the one who's like, girl, you should do that. Okay, you should go on that date. You know, why don't you take that risk? Why don't you try that business? You know, that's like your survival self has kept you in your comfort zone for a long time. Its job is to keep you safe, even from things that are not dangerous. Like for your survival self, everything is a danger. Woo, woo, woo. Whereas that is not conducive to your growth. So now Rosamund does a very good job at saying that it's time to retire your survival self, guys. Put that protector down. You don't really need him or her right now, because him or her is doing more harm than she is doing good. You know, and let your possibility self take the wheel. There's more opportunities for you there when you are able to tap into your possibility self. You know, you don't have to, like, imagine a life where you don't have to keep worrying about what if this happens or what if that happens. Like, you're tapping into your positive self. Your positive self is your possible self. So those are the 3 tips. Why do I keep saying tips, guys? Those are the 3 lessons that I learned from this book. It's a lot to unpack. I want you guys to please buy this book. I don't really want to have like a spoiler alert, because there's a lot of gems here. Like, there's so many gems. Like, I highlighted a lot of stuff here. Like, man, the chapters are nice and short. They're not long. She makes like very good points. Like, for example, safety patterns are not adaptive. They are irresolute and single-minded as the child who first fashioned them. Doesn't that play into what I just said now, your survival self? Because your survival self is meant to keep you safe and locked in. It keeps you safe from everything, even good things. So that's not a good thing, because that's how you don't grow. Another nice thing. One explanation is that when you are dedicated to avoid... Oh, let me start this little paragraph. It says here, the old adage, what you resist persists, describes so much of our emotional life, and yet it is difficult to grasp the full meaning of the phrase and why it should be so. One explanation is that when you are dedicated to avoiding emotions or experiences that once frightened you, you are less likely to see signs of what you dread coming toward you. In that way, Sally, who's a lady that she counseled here, in that way, Sally simply hadn't noticed that it was time for her beloved teacher to retire. How nice is that, guys? Like, this book is deep. Deep, deep, deep. So please buy it. I would suggest it. This book and what's that other one by Mark Wolof, if I'm not mistaken, it's called It Doesn't Start With You. I might review it again. I will probably do a review on it in another video. But yes, Pathways to Possibilities. Imagine I read this in 2022 and it's still changing my life 3 years later. So please check this book out. It's perfect for us on this channel who are interested in improving ourselves, getting to know the better versions of ourselves, and having honest conversations. There you go. And this is not a sponsored ad.